them. Whereas with a dipping belt, you kind of do, or you need just a selection of plates to carry around with you in your car every time you go down the park, or carry them in your backpack, you know, like 40 kilos of iron. It just doesn't make sense. Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, bodyweight training, gymnastics, all that good stuff. I'm Rhys, a personal trainer from the UK and founder of morethanlifting.com, and in this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about weighted calisthenics training. I know, that's calisthenics with weights. Yeah, weights on. And don't tell anyone. Alright, that's alright. But sometimes you just want to do some weighted stuff. And that's okay. You got loads of options for calisthenics. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first off, don't tell anyone, but I haven't done any weight training for ages. All right, I haven't done any weight training in so long. And I kind of miss it a little bit. You know, sometimes it is quite fun picking up heavy shit, you know. There's something about it that's quite fun. But, you know, I don't miss it that much that I'd like go and join a gym, I guess. Really, but that's okay. You can do calisthenics with weights. All right, I have spoken about it before in an episode way back where I spoke about calisthenics training equipment, but this is just about doing calisthenics with weights on. So first off, there is nothing wrong with doing this. There's nothing wrong with putting weights on. You have a couple of different options, and yeah, they can be used for different reasons, and that's kind of about it, really. So 3 ways you can do calisthenics with weight is 1, a weighted vest, 2 is a dipping belt, and 3 is ankle weights. All right, there are advantages and disadvantages to each of these, and certain ways you can use them and certain ways you can't. All right, so that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be quite a quick one, I guess, because I'm off to Bulgaria. That's why. Actually, I'm going to be in Bulgaria when this comes out. So what I'm doing is I'm going to record a bunch of them so that I don't miss anything, because like the slightest little hiccup and it seems that I don't get a podcast episode out, and I hate it, and it just sucks. It really winds me up because I'm like, I just get the episode out. But so I'm batching a couple. All right, so sorry if we have the same couple of stories and the same ones. Like, I'm going to try not to, you know, but I'm really looking forward to actually going to Bulgaria and doing some training out there. The weather's going to be pretty good by the looks of things, like up to 30 degrees and as low as hopefully 22 is the lowest, you know. But yeah, so it should be great, kind of mid to end of September, like a nice bit of sun. I'm really looking forward to just kind of going out and doing training in a different country. So if you're in Bulgaria and you want to meet up and have a little training session, give us a shout. We're going to be there from the 10th till the 26th, 12th till the 26th, sorry. And yeah, so I'm already there, but just give me a hit me up on Instagram. We're going to have a training session together because it would be awesome to meet you. And yeah, so anyway, back to the weighted stuff. So when you're doing calisthenics, depending on where you are, you might be limited in what you can do. Yeah, and depending on like where you are in your training, you might have almost exhausted to an extent the kind of variations you can do at the minute. Other stuff's too hard, or you're trying to achieve something and you're really struggling, and the solution in your head's adding a bit of weight for some other exercises, and that's cool that you can do that. In fact, like, why can't you? There's no reason you can't do that. If it helps you hit your goals, do it. If it means you have to do some weighted pulls and some weighted dips and stuff like that, that's all right. The tools are available. I'm not allowed to do that. If you don't, actually, I forgot one. So there's 4 ways you can kind of do weighted. So this isn't weights, but you can use a resistance band, and this isn't like weight, but it's resistance, and that's kind of what the weight's for anyway. It's increasing the resistance, so like you can definitely do that. But if you're using resistance bands, you're going to make sure you're doing it in a way that makes it harder and not easier. Yeah, so think like push-ups. You can do push-ups with a resistance band where you have it over your shoulders and you're holding onto it with each hand, and you're doing push-ups kind of against the elasticity. And yeah, so that's one way you can do it. There we go, we've already started. So resistance bands, they're all right for weighted training. Like, what you can use them for as well as other supportive exercises and stuff like that. So they're quite a diverse bit of kit, actually. I always kind of held off buying resistance bands because I didn't really think I had any way to use them. or anywhere to use them, but actually they're really good for stuff like whether it's planche skills, lever skills, like any kind of skills, some dynamic exercises as well, like, but they're just really good for supporting you, basically. Dynamic progressions, especially, think pull-ups, think dips, you know what I mean, muscle ups even. And yeah, so they're a really good bit of kit, really diverse bit of kit you can use for a bunch of different things, which is cool. So resistance bands, like, I can't believe I missed them off of 3 originally. They're pretty cool. Then the next one is a vest, and vests are pretty good. They can be quite limiting because unless you buy one that's particularly like adjustable, then they're pretty much fixed, and they're quite expensive. So I wouldn't recommend, like, I'd recommend if you're going to buy a weighted vest that you just get like a really heavy one that you can adjust. So it comes with like loads of little sandbags in it, and you can just take out a bunch of sandbags to line up. And that's because if you get a lower one, you get strong, and then it's shit. Or it's not shit, but you'll wish you had a heavier one. And if you get a heavier one, you can't do anything. You'd be like, why didn't I get a bloody light one? And you'd be fuming, especially at me for telling you to get a heavy one. So make sure if you get a weighted vest, it's adjustable, okay? And you see a lot of people, right, doing weighted, using a weighted vest with calisthenics. And it's great for like basic dynamic exercises, things like pulls, things like dips, but you see a lot of people doing them with levers. And like, I'm not hating on anyone here, but if you wanted to make your lever harder, then it'd be better, in my opinion, to have the weight on the end of your feet rather than on your body, because like that's only really training your grip strength and a bit of your shoulder leverage. But like if you had the weights out on your ankles, then what that would mean is your hips have to work harder, your core has to work a lot harder, like your legs, like everything else. It brings so much more in, and you could use less weight and get a bigger benefit from it. So like you got like a 30 kilo vest on your over your vest part, over your body, you know, your torso, and then like if you put ankle weights, let's say, I don't know, like half or like a quarter of the weight even on your ankles, just the distance that they are away from each other. So instead of your like, that increases the amount of strength it takes to lift that massively. Like it's a multiplier because it's a lever. Yeah, the lever being your shoulders. So that means that I don't know exactly what the maths is because it varies down to people's anatomy. But realistically, like, I think that'd be harder. If you're doing, like, I'm not saying weighted vest wouldn't be hard to do with levers. Levers wouldn't be hard to do with a weighted vest on. Like, of course it would. It would be harder on your grip. It would be harder on your shoulders, like, and probably your hips as well. But if it's out on your ankles, like, how much better is that going to be for you? I reckon, all right, and I don't know exactly, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I reckon that you'd be better off having it down there because that's working all of the lever rather than just your upper body part, you know, and just your grip because you're technically heavier. But if you just wanted to work your grip, then you're better off doing pulls, aren't you? Really? Like, I don't know. Imagine if you were doing a front lever with ankle weights on. Like, I think that'd be well hard. In fact, I know that'd be well hard because I've tried it and it's fucking hard. Yeah, but I reckon I could do weighted vest ones with weighted vest on because I don't think it would be that much harder, you know. Or I think it would be easier than doing it with them out all the way out on there. Anyway, I'm just walking in circles here, so we're going to shut up about that. So the next one then, weighted vests are great, but use them for like dynamic exercises, not necessarily skills. Like, yeah, maybe a planche or something. That would be great for like your straight arm and your shoulder strength. But like, at some point, you're better off having it at the end of the lever rather than on right in by the joint, like the actual, what's it called, locus, or the point of leverage. So yeah, that's my gripe with vests and people doing vest stuff. Like I said, I'm not hating on anyone's in particular or anything, but I just see it and I think, why don't you put weight on your feet? You know, that's it. That's it. Like, so the next one then, we're going to skip dipping belts. We're just going to go to ankle weights because we're talking about it already. Ankle weights are great. Yeah, ankle weights are great because you can do stuff like bridges, planks, like bridges with like a leg raise. I mean, not just any old bridge with your ankle weights on. There's no point, is it, because your feet are on the floor. But hanging leg raises, oh my god, hanging leg raises are so hard with ankle weights on. It is impossible. L-sits, hollow body stuff, flutter kicks, like side plank raises, like where you raise your leg up. I mean, not like you don't side plank and then raise your hips. So like side planks with a leg raise, then you can do those kind of, all those like donkey kick ones, you know the ones I mean. You know the ones I mean. You can do all of them. Like, they'd be really good with it for all of like your hip strength, like all the muscles around there. You could do lateral, like anterior, like flexion. You know, you got loads of different directions you can move your hips in, and so you can do like side raises, front raises, back raises, like donkey kick ones, and yeah. So you could also do them for your pulls, but you're not going to have the leverage, like weight bonus from doing that, like you do with your hanging leg raises. So it'll just be whatever the weight is, that's the equivalent of what you're doing. Whereas things like your leg raise, your L-sit and stuff, like it's going to be so much harder. The same with dips. You could do them with dips, but like what's the point? You know, so like I wouldn't recommend it with dips either. You can do it with your levers. Okay, now we've already spoken about this though, so think like planche, front lever, back lever, flags, handstands even, why not? Like, I don't know really what the point would be, like they just slip down your legs probably, but you could do them. Handstand press, there you go, there's a reason for having ankle weights on. So there you go, there's loads of opportunity to use ankle weights, but not with pulls and dips or push-ups, because like, or rows, because there's just no point. So save them for your levers instead. Save the vest for all those ones and your levers for all the lever stuff. So your ankle weights for all the lever stuff. Brilliant. Glad we got that sorted. Then the next one, and the last one, is a dipping belt. And a dipping belt is like a big padded strap, like one of those back supports that you see like weightlifters using. It's similar to that, except it's got a chain on the front. And you basically just string a load of weights, like plates on the chain, and then do your reps. So this works for like dips. This works for pulls. Not really. I mean, muscle ups, yeah, but not really, because like it can interfere with the bar, like when you're up the top. But it does work for muscle ups still. It doesn't work for levers though. It doesn't work for floor stuff. It's just like hanging stuff, and it doesn't really work for leg raises because like it kind of gets in the way at first, and then when you get past 90, it kind of swings under and just hits you in the back or in the bum or worse. And so it's just awkward and not really comfortable, not really good. But like any weights on you are great for just hanging, just practicing hanging. Like, that discipline's really good. And your planks, your scapular exercises and all that kind of stuff are really good to do with a weighted vest on. So you really have loads of opportunities, like just crazy amount of opportunities to do weighted calisthenics with weights. You know, I'm not talking about weight training and calisthenics training. I'm talking about making yourself heavier to do calisthenics, you know? So you got plenty of choices. Ankle weights, I'd say, are probably the best, then a weighted vest. Like, just because of the diversity of skills you can do, and also you don't need your gym for them, either of them. Whereas with a dipping belt, you kind of do, or you need just a selection of plates to carry around with you in your car every time you go down the park, or carry them in your backpack, you know, like 40 kilos of iron. You know, it just doesn't make sense. So they're all right, but they're only really good for use down the gym. And I've used them loads, and they are good. Like, don't get me wrong, they are really good for it. But you'd be better off with a weighted vest or ankle weights instead, ultimately. So guys, that's it. How to do weighted calisthenics. That's heavy, like calisthenics with resistance added, and that's it. So thanks for joining me. As always, guys, if you like what you heard, give us a like, subscribe, rate and review. Honest 5 stars, of course, wink wink. And if you want to have any questions, comments, or just talk with me about weighted vests and front levers and back levers, then cool. Just reach out to me on Instagram or at More Than Lifting everywhere else as well. And yeah, guys, that is it. Otherwise, In the last episode, I said about my LSIT program that I got coming out. If you want to join the beta kind of test crew to go through that, then go to morganwaters.com/beta. It's not going to be out until I'm actually back from Bulgaria, so we're looking at end of September for that. But that means that as soon as I get back and everything gets sorted, then you'll be straight in, and yeah, it'd be really cool to have you on the inside. And yeah, that's it, guys. Have a good one, and as always, catch you in the next one. Keep in touch with yourselves, and I'll see you then.